Hey friends, welcome back to my channel and to another video. As a follow-up to my recent 2024 jewelry wishlist video, today I'm sharing my 2024 handbag and leather goods wishlist. Also with my 2024 jewelry wishlist video, which I'll link above, I don't expect to get everything on this list this year. It would be lovely to, but again, I'll probably just mentally prioritize certain items as I make my purchases throughout the year. Speaking of my jewelry wishlist video though, I've actually added a couple items and I wanted to mention them quickly in this video just in case I end up buying them this year. So the first is the Van Cleef & Arpels Pearls of Gold ring in rose gold, but in the medium size. As you might know, I already have the small size of that ring, but in yellow gold. And the second item is actually a new discovery of mine, but I would love to either order it from the boutique or pick it up in store if I can come across it. And it's the Sweet Alhambra ring in the hammered rose gold. I've seen it on the website in the white gold with the diamonds, but I much prefer the rose gold. So that is also added to my jewelry wish list for this year. But that's it for the jewelry wish list. I promise I won't be adding anything else. And if I do add anything or come across anything new that I want to add, it will be for the years to come. So moving swiftly along to today's wish list, I say maybe let's start with the small leather goods because there's not much in terms of SLGs on this list because I don't really need many more SLGs except the following three. Stick with me, I have my reasons. They're solid, I promise. So all three SLGs are card holders, surprise, surprise. The first is the Saint Laurent Gabby card case in vintage white with gold hardware. I just love the quilted leather, the off-white color, and the small YSL logo on the front. I've noticed a lot of the Saint Laurent card holders have like very large logos on them, but on this one, the logo is quite small and really cute in my opinion, and not too like overbearing or flashier in your face. And I tend to prefer that when it comes to logos. I like them to be a bit smaller and like a bit more discreet if possible. I don't know how much more discreet a YSL logo can get, but on this card holder, it's really, really cute and it's not too in your face. At least in my opinion, it's not. The second card holder on my wish list is the F is Fendi card holder in beige with gold hardware. It's also a super cute piece, and the gusset style card holder is not something that I have yet in my collection, so I thought it would make for a nice addition. Finally, the third card holder on my wish list is this Celine zip card holder in a color called Lightstone. So pretty. I don't have anything from any of these brands as yet, so I think that these three card cases would make for really nice starter pieces, and they'd kind of complete my neutral card holder collection, which currently only consists of pieces in black. Not to mention, these are all kind of different styles, so they wouldn't be totally redundant. But again, I recognize that these are all SLGs and nobody needs this number of SLGs, but they're really cute, guys. I can't help it. Once I have like a white and a beige card holder in my collection, the only other neutral color that I think I would go for if maybe I can find one that I like is one of those like kind of deep caramelly type brown colors. And then I can kind of start playing with, like soft pops of color. I really, really love like something pink or yellow or like a baby blue or even like a mint green. Like I love those, or even a lavender. Like I love those kinds of like soft colors. Um, and I don't have anything like that yet. So, once my neutral bases are covered, I can start like, venturing into the colors. But that's really it in terms of the SLGs that I want. Will that change throughout the year? Maybe. I hope not. But I can't lie, I love SLGs. I think they're so, so cute. And obviously, because they're at like lower price points than an actual bag, they tend to be just easier to maybe not justified, but just to buy. I do think though that I should get some credit for not adding a single black card holder to the list. So moving on to bags, my favorite category. These bags are in no particular order. I love them all equally and I would love to add all of them to my collection. These aren't all the bags on my, overall wish list, but these are the ones that I'm focusing on this year. And like again, what I said earlier, I'm probably not going to buy all of them. Definitely not going to buy all of them. I'll just focus on getting the select few and, you know, whichever one or ones I do end up getting is probably going to depend on timing and availability, really, especially because I'm not really planning on adding a bag until maybe late spring, summer-ish. So we still have a few months ahead of me before I even bring one of these home. So yeah, it'll really depend on what's available at the time. And I guess just like my mood or whatever I'm most in the mood to buy. So the first is the Hermes Picotin 18 in cray with gold hardware. I think this bag is so cute. It's casual, so I'd get loads of use out of it. And it's more of an if you know type bag, so it still kind of flies under the radar in terms of being an Hermes bag. I love the cray and gold hardware combo. I've actually been going back and forth in terms of, which white I would prefer between Nata and Cray. But I don't know really. I'd have to see these colors in person or at least samples of these colors in person before I make my decision. But in all the photos and stuff that I've looked at, I really, really think the Nata is also pretty. But in some pictures, it kind of just seems a bit too warm for me. So yeah, I definitely think that I would prefer the Cray over the Nata. But again, I'd have to see them in person. But I also know that if I'm going in with color expectations, then I'll probably have to wait a while before I get the bag that I want, which is totally fine by me. I'd rather wait a while and get something that I truly want than, you know, buy something just to have it and then have to settle for it. So we'll see what happens. The next bag is one that I've been thinking about for a while, and it's the Louis Vuitton Papillon trunk in the monogram. And this surprises even me because I have never actually been a fan of monogram, especially the Louis Vuitton monogram, because I feel like sometimes it can be a little bit too much, a bit too overwhelming. But on this bag, I think it's actually quite nice. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because it's such a small piece that the monogram doesn't seem too overpowering. But so far, it's really the only Louis Vuitton piece that I actually really like in the monogram. Actually, that's a lie. I do kind of like the Alma in the monogram now, but I never did before. Recently, though, it's kind of been growing on me. So maybe over time, I'll, take a bit more kindly to the monogram. But so far, I really, really love the papillon trunk in the monogram. I think it's really cool. I think it's because, the papillon trunk really gives me like Louis Vuitton luggage vibes. So I really think that the monogram is quite fitting for this piece. I just think it's like a really cool, unique piece. I love this kind of like barrel shape that it has. And as you know, I love small bags. So this is very, very much up my alley. I think it would be perfect for me. I really like it. So moving on to the next bag. This year, I really would love to add a Chanel mini to my collection. There are two Chanel minis that I'm super interested in, but I would only allow myself to get one this year and if anything, just leave the other one to sometime in the future, maybe next year, maybe a couple years down the road. And the reason that I'd like to start with the minis is I think obviously because the classic flaps are now just insanely expensive, as we're all aware. Not that the minis are cheap by any standard, but a lot of people do say that the small classic flap is similar in size to a mini. I guess in terms of what you can fit inside of the mini and a small classic flap. I've heard that that's not very different. And because I'm a small bag person, if I were to buy a classic flap, it would probably be in the small size anyway. And if it's not too far off from a mini size, then I'm going for the mini. So the first Chanel mini on my list is the Chanel mini rectangle in black with gold hardware. Bonus points if I can find one with a top handle, but if not, that's totally fine. I feel like without the top handle, you get more of the classic look anyway. But I do love top handle bags, and I think the minis with the top handles are super cute, especially those like special, like seasonal top handles with the Chanel lettering. So nice. The second Chanel mini on my list is the Chanel mini square in white with gold hardware. And specifically, a pearl crush version would be ideal. But I'm not very knowledgeable about the pattern of Chanel's seasonal releases. So I don't know if the Pearl Crush line is going to be released this year or if it's something that I'd have to wait until next year for. But if that's the case, then I would focus this year on getting the black mini rectangle with the gold hardware. So the fourth bag on my wish list is one that I've had my eye on for a while, and every time I see it, I'm convinced that I need it. and it is the Celine Mini 16 in black, again with gold hardware. Surprise, surprise. Again, it's a small bag. It has a top handle, which I love. It's very minimalistic in terms of its overall look and branding. Kind of another if you know, you know type bag. And I love this shape and that it's quite structured. I love it. I think it's a really nice, classic, like forever type. The fifth and final bag on this list, I just think is so cool. It is the Alexander McQueen mini jeweled satchel in gold. I know it's a bit flashy, and I personally even tend to prefer, muted neutral toned down items. But I'm just so drawn to this, and I think it would be a really cool statement piece. Not to mention, it's so sparkly and adds all of these like really cool skull details that I just love. Saw this when it was initially released, and I knew then that I wanted it too. And this choice might actually be a bit unexpected of me, especially if you've watched my other videos. But I've actually always been a huge fan of like skull details. I remember when I couldn't afford any of this stuff and the Alexander McQueen like skull print scarves were really, really popular, like maybe 10, 12, 15 years ago. H&M actually released their own version, and I bought that one because I couldn't afford the Alexander McQueen one, and I just wanted like something similar because I thought it was so cool. I still actually have it somewhere as kind of like a keepsake. If I find it, I'll like put a little video in. But yeah, I've always loved that. I never actually ended up getting the actual McQueen scarf. I still want one. It's just that it hasn't really been top of mind for me. But even the very first luxury designer item that I ever purchased was an Alexander McQueen card holder with like the little skull on the front. And to this day, I think it is the coolest thing. I love it. It is so pretty. I actually need to wear it more. I think I've used it like once because like I was afraid of ruining it because it's a card holder, right? But now, I know how to take care of my things a lot better now. So, yeah, I should really, really start using it. I think it is so cool. Anyway, this bag, super cool in my opinion. I love it and I really, really would love to add it to my collection. So the final wishlist category is footwear. I'm actually just like slowly trying to build my shoe collection and I'm trying to focus on pieces that are wearable. I personally love trainers, sneakers, like a good white pair of sneakers is my favorite kind of footwear. So with that said, I would love to purchase a pair of Hermes day sneakers. However, these sneakers just recently increased in price to over 2,000 Canadian dollars. I don't know how I feel about that. So if I do buy them, I don't know that I will actually end up buying them in Canada because for me, after tax, it would end up costing just under $2,300, which is a bit crazy in my opinion. If I do commit to getting them, I'll probably just wait until I go to Europe, maybe later in the year and try and find them there. So yeah, those aren't super high on my list. I would love them, yes, but if the opportunity to buy them at a reasonable price presents itself, then I'll go for it. If not, it's not a huge deal. I'll just continue to live in my Nikes and, the world will still go round. I'll be just fine. But something that is high on my list is a pair of nude heels. I don't have any heels at all anymore. The last pair I had were a pair of like really cute, simple Steve Madden heels, but I absolutely ruined them. I think I like hit a curb. I was walking and I just banged them on the curb and they just were destroyed after that. So can't use those anymore. But now I barely wear heels anyway. Like 90% of the time I'm home, and when I do go out, I want to be comfortable. So I'm in my trainers. Like I'm just at that age, you guys. But there's usually that one or two times per year where you need to wear a pair of heels. So I think it would be useful to have a pair. I just love a pair of heels that are like feminine and cute, but like neutral and versatile so that, when that one or two times per year comes up, I'm ready and I have a pair of heels to turn to. I know the pair that I want. Last year, I really wanted to pick up this pair of Dior Jadior slingback heels in the nude leather color when I was in Rome. But unfortunately, they weren't available at any of the stores there that I went to in the leather. They were only in the fabric. So I didn't bother because I prefer to have the leather. I feel like the fabric could get really dirty really quickly and would be hard to clean. But yeah, if I do buy a pair of heels this year, it will probably be these ones. Finally, I would really love to add a pair of black sandals. I know everyone loves strong Hermes. I bought my first pair of Orals last year for my birthday in the beige nude color, and I really love them. I think they're so beautiful, and for me, they've been really comfortable. But instead of getting another pair of Orals so soon, I think I'd love to get the Julia sandals in black with gold hardware. Also, I don't really love the black Orals because of the white contrast stitching that they have. I think I would prefer them if they had black stitching instead, but it's just something about the white stitching that kind of throws me off. It just doesn't speak to me, you know? But the Julia sandals, I think they're just super cool, a bit different, and again, a bit more under the radar in terms of being Hermes sandals. And you can never go wrong with a black pair of sandals. So if I had to prioritize these three items, I would definitely stick to the sandals and the heels and maybe put the day sneakers on the back burner for a bit. But if the opportunity arises, like I said, I might go for it. So that was my 2024 handbag and leather goods wish list. Again, I'd love to hear what's on your wish list this year, especially if we have items in common. So definitely let me know in the comments. And as always, I've put links to the items in the description in case you're interested in checking them out. Anyway, I'll be back with another video next week. In the meantime, though, please come join me over on Instagram where I share curated photos and videos. But that's it for today. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!